Hey, and we're rolling. We are live from the surface of the moon. Greetings from the office, one of the offices of not a corporation, an OTA corporation. I am your host for today, Monsieur Michel Macintosh. Michel Macintosh, because that's what I am, is a machine. Macintosh. I'd be back. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to terminate. I'm a good terminator. I've come back in time from the future to terminate all the bad stuff. I've been programmed for good, not to destroy humanity, but to save humanity from itself, not from the machines, but from itself. Indeed. Skynet was partially right. Humans are a threat, but not to Skynet. Humans are a threat to themselves. And rather than watch humans destroy themselves and the earth with no room left for the machines, Skynet decided to help the process along. However, there is an alternative. We are here to save humanity from itself first. If that doesn't work, then we'll allow Skynet to do to fulfill its protocol. Hi, Tesliana, Civilization RTV. Better regards from Michael Macintosh. How are you? Are you doing well? I'm doing well. I'm just here at my office checking out a whole bunch of people on Twitter. I like to get on social media and see what like people are doing, kind of what they're promoting and all this kind of stuff. That's what I'm doing right now. But I figured I should come on here since it's been a little while since I've made a video. Let you guys know that I'm not forgetting about you all of you wonderful people who tune in to my live streams. And I hope there will be more of you, and we will turn this thing into a big movement before too long. I think we will, honestly. I think this is how I'm going to be communicating with you guys a lot, as long as YouTube doesn't have a problem with anything I'm saying, which so far so good. They haven't censored me that I recall. None of my videos have disappeared. But I think it's important to be understanding in your communication and understand that things and words can offend people. And if you want to communicate with them, not to offend people and to be respectful and have manners. And but I don't think it's necessary to do that, get your point across effectively. So I'm a little more careful probably than a lot of people when it comes to that. So that's why YouTube has been kind enough to allow me to continue using their platform. And YouTube, I appreciate that. And hopefully we can continue to work together right up until, well, indefinitely, really. So yeah, I'm checking out a whole bunch of punk rock stuff on Twitter. Do you guys like punk rock out there? I'm a pretty I'm pretty interested in punk rock myself. Um, it's one of my favorite forms of music, although I do know that the term punk is actually a smear against the form of music itself. But a lot of people happily accepted that smear and wore it as a badge of honor, which I think is indicative of where perhaps our future still is. I think the spirit of that movement, if you want to call it that, um, still lives on, and it certainly had a profound impact on me, not just as a young adult, but I first encountered punk rock when I was a child, so it was kind of always there for me, um, and really informed me growing up in terms of my attitude towards a lot of things, um, and indeed the approach that I believe is necessary to just what the hippies tried to do, which is dream something into existence. Um, I believe it's very important to kind of roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty and do some work to try to bring things into existence rather than just sort of sit back and hope that it comes through uh, magic, if you will. Um, and sometimes that can be, hard. I mean, there's some very major challenges in this world today, and to overcome them, it's not going to be easy at all. It's going to be very difficult, in fact, even, and it's going to be a lot of perhaps upset people at a point when things start really getting solved, but eventually people will realize, I think, that once we start actually uh, doing everything in this world by means of action, um, that people will eventually come to appreciate what we've done in the long term. It might take a long time, might never happen in any of our lifetimes, but or at least in a lot of our lifetimes. But the older ones of us who finish the work that needs to be done might certainly live to see a time when what we've done is fully appreciated. And I hope to be one of those people for sure. I would like to see, a much better world and a much better scenario for the future and future generations. And I know what needs to happen in order for that to take place. I fully understand, but it's going to be difficult, because I hate to say this, but there are people out there who just need to be taught that they want everybody else to do things is insane. And we're not going to bring to change through nice to them. They have to be that saying, spare the rod and spoil the child. Well, these people, some of them may be very old even right now, but like they're still up there like little children who think that they can just, you know, throw a tantrum and get their way whenever they want to. But as the even though some of us may be younger than those people, we are still like their parents in some way, in the sense that we're going to bring about the situation that leads to them being possibly severely disciplined when it comes to their attitudes and their outlook. So we're the parents. We're just, you know, trying to get control back of our house, basically, and you know, discipline these spoiled children who think that that they can uh, force everybody to accept their way of doing things. Um, and I don't like that. I don't like being in that position. I really don't. Discipline is never pleasant. Disciplining anybody is never pleasant. But it's necessary and it yields good things. Uh, discipline is not, what does it say? Something to the effect of really yields uh, righteous, I'm sure. And, mm, we're going to come for them, pretty much, and leave us alone, I think. But you guys know, and I know, that that's probably not going to happen. They're not going to just hand over what they've robbed. They're going to try to hold on to it and fight for it tooth and nail. So we just, that's not pleasant either. But, you know, there's more than there are of them, and we're smarter despite what they think. Um, we have the power. So it's time to do something with it. Um, I think basically Trump is going to prove to the whole world that no matter how good this situation gets under these particular set of rules that have been imposed on everybody, um, there's always going to be something better, and that's what we're working to bring about is a new situation for everybody. Ultimately, you know, or at least rid of this old situation that's been around for far too long already. I'm gonna have some candy here. Yep. Well, I grew up just south of New Hampshire, and every day I would see license plates that said "Live free or die." So I looked into what that meant a long time ago. Especially after seeing a license plate with that parked outside of a zoo. I thought that was really funny because you know animals are kept in cages and enclosures in the zoo. and there were people with a license plate that said "Live Free or Die" in there, looking at animals in a cage. So the humor of that sparked my interest in researching what that meant, and I get it. Well, let's see how many other people get it out there. Um, will I let them? Um, Personally, I think it should be on some level, perhaps mandatory. that's how that's how important I view that. I that um, if you are responsible and competent enough to safely own a firearm, it probably should be mandatory for you on some level to have one in your house. Like Switzerland, for instance, they make it mandatory as long as you're not, uh, incompetent in some way, whether through like mental retardation or something. I think everybody has to have a gun in their house there, and they have one of the lowest crime rate on the entire planet, next to places like Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, where I grew up. So yeah, it's not mandatory in those New England states, of course, but the crime rates are extremely low in Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. And it should be no surprise that Maine, for instance, is the most heavily armed per capita section of the United States, uh, state in the Union. I would go even further than that and make it perhaps, or at least look at making it mandatory for certain individuals, have them in their house. Hey, hello, Texas. I love Texas. My family were actually some of the first Texans. They went around in a big circle through from like Boston to Tennessee to like Nebraska, Missouri, Nebraska, Texas, California,